Figured that would be the appropriate way to start off this video. So yeah, the return of Discord. Something I've been waiting for a long time, because I know I bashed him a lot in the past about the way he's defeated at the end of the Return of Harmony, but he is just such a fun guy to watch, such a fantastic character. I think he might be my favourite, occasional character that the show has had so far. And a Fluttershy episode. Before I get into Fluttershy, actually, I just want to say Discord did not disappoint, absolutely. He's just as much fun to watch in this as he was in The Return of Harmony. The different sort of things that he does in this episode, so much fun. They get really creative with the kind of things that he does in this episode, and just the way he behaves is so sort of cocky and sort of self-aware and sort of not perhaps taking the situation absolutely seriously kind of thing. It's just so much fun. I absolutely love it. But a Fluttershy episode as well, and that was kind of a double-edged sword for me, because the Fluttershy episodes are the ones that do kind of sort of interest me the most when I see that there's a Fluttershy episode coming along. I'm thinking, oh, that's going to be interesting, because for the most part, Fluttershy is probably the most complex of the main six, really. If I were like to explain Fluttershy's character to somebody who'd never seen the show, I'd have a real difficult time summarising the type of personality and the type of character that she is. She's a very sort of complex kind of character. So I didn't really want to see sort of Discord and a Fluttershy episode together. I thought those, could sort of work better apart. But to be fair, actually, these two antic ideas do sort of merge together quite well. And we get a great amount of Discord, and we get a good Fluttershy episode at the same time. With that said, with Fluttershy, being the most complex character of the main six, she's actually not had a particularly versatile sort of variety of episodes overall. Dragonshy, it's about, having the self-confidence to stand up to a dragon. Green isn't your colour. It's a little bit about, trusting your friends, but it's also a little bit about having the confidence, to say, she doesn't want to be a model, perhaps. A Bird in the Hoof is just a sort of nothing episode as far as I'm concerned. It's not a bad episode or anything, it was just sort of one of the most forgettable episodes I think the show has had. I'm not saying it's bad exactly, but I just don't remember anything about it. Putting Your Hoof Down, again, it's about self-confidence and, not being a doormat. And Hurricane Fluttershy is about having the physical sort of self-confidence to do something she might not think she's capable of. So, for the most part, pretty much all of her episodes, except for A Bird in the Hoof, which is most certainly my least favourite of the Fluttershy episodes, have been about Fluttershy lacking self-confidence, really. So, she's a very sort of complex type of character, but she's not had a particularly versatile sort of range of episodes, really. Thankfully, though, this one isn't really about her lacking self-confidence. This is much more about how she can appeal to other people's better nature and how she can sort of better understand people who other people maybe can't understand. She sort of understands them in the way that she understands animals. So the stuff with Fluttershy, sort of not sort of being sort of gullible into not being fooled into what Discord's trying to manipulate her into doing. In fact, I really like the way that pretty much all of the main six are behaving in this episode. They've fought Discord before, they know what he's doing here, they're not going to sort of be fooled by him again, they're second-guessing everything that he's trying to do, they're not stupid at all. I absolutely really like the way that they're behaving in this, and at the same time, Discord's, he treats them with respect, and he's a little cocky, because that's the type of character that he is, he doesn't really sort of show any kind of signs of weakness until the latter part of the episode. Fluttershy is sort of attempting to do what Celestia is asked to do, whereas the main six are very much sort of dismissive of Discord the entire time. So it is sort of showing the sort of different element of Fluttershy's character, that she does see the good in people in another way that perhaps the other five don't. So that was pretty cool. The reforming spell that Twilight was planning to put on Discord, I find that a little disturbing, I've got to be honest. It's sort of messing with free will, it's manipulating what a person chooses to do and what a person wants to do. I find that a little disturbing, to be honest. I wouldn't have thought Celestia would approve of that kind of spell. I mean, I think back to Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. They explain about the unforgivable curses, and one of them is the Imperious Curse, which basically enables you to control what another person is doing and everything they do with their life. So you could just make them hang themselves or jump off a cliff or something. It's basically, you have the ability to kill them, and as a result, the unforgivable curses, the use of any of them is a life sentence in prison. This actually doesn't seem that similar to the reforming spell. It seems like the same kind of idea, so that's a little disturbing, if you ask me, that Celestia would approve of that kind of thing. I'm glad Discord ate the pages to that spell, really, because I would not have liked to have seen Twilight do that kind of spell. That's a little frightening, I gotta say. But anyway, the rest of the episode, a lot of fun, just fun watching Discord. You know, I think my favourite part was the bit where he rolls his eyes into these two golf ball holes sort of things, and then his face reforms around them. That's pretty cool. Again, it's the animators sort of getting creative and sort of showing that I think they understand that there are sort of episodes that are just about sort of solid writing and an interesting kind of message, and then there are other episodes, which I think this one probably is one of those, which is just having fun, you know, and the animators getting creative with the kind of things that they do. Too Many Pinkie Pies is sort of the prime example of that kind of episode. I didn't really like that episode massively the first time I saw it, but watching it again I've come to sort of realise that, you know what, this one's just one of those having fun type episodes, and as one of those kinds of episodes it works brilliantly. And this is kind of a mixed bag in that sense. It's kind of, for the most part, just having fun watching Discord and watching Fluttershy trying to sort of better understand him, but I think at the same time there is an interesting kind of message. Covers the values of friendship, but I'll get to that in a minute. In terms of one other minor thing I didn't like is I thought Spike was a bit wasted in this one. Obviously you have to have all of the main six in there so that they have the ability to use the elements of harmony. Spike didn't really have anything to do in this episode. I mean, I do like the way that they sometimes have just Spike on the sidelines, just making the odd remark or doing the odd kind of comedic kind of thing, like Hurricane Fluttershy is the prime example of that kind of thing. That's the best way to use Spike, the way that he behaves in that episode. He doesn't really have any of those kinds of moments in this episode. There are no like insensitive remarks or wisecrack sort of antics from him, comedic sort of little things that he does. He doesn't really do anything in this episode. He's just sort of there. So that was a little disappointing. Excellent sort of behaviour around the main six, and interesting just to see another side to Fluttershy and the way that she sort of is attempting to appeal to Discord. But the big sort of elephant in the room, and the big sort of fault with this episode really that sticks out like a sore thumb to me, is the ending. I don't hate the ending, but my god, it was rushed. And I've heard a lot of people say that this could have worked better as a two-parter really. I don't think there's enough in this episode really to say that there would have been enough there to stretch it over 44 minutes, you know, 2 episodes, so to speak. But yeah, they could have used you know, just a little bit more time really, because basically what happens is Fluttershy says, oh, Discord's my friend now, and Discord is like instantly, oh wow, I got a friend, I'm sort of really sort of overjoyed about that, and then 5 minutes later he's frozen Ponyville, you know, turned it into winter, and Fluttershy like 5 minutes after saying to Discord, he's my friend, you know, suddenly you're not my friend anymore, and then Discord is like instantly, I kind of miss Fluttershy, you know. He kind of misses the friend that he only made 5 minutes ago. That just really needed a lot more time to develop, you know. First of all, Discord realising that there's real value in having a friend, and then a little more time to realise that, you know, once Fluttershy is no longer his friend, he kind of misses her. You know, there's no real time for Discord to appreciate the idea of having a friend, for me to be able to believe that he would miss Fluttershy as a friend when she says she's not his friend anymore. You know, it's just kind of like, he's not had a friend his whole life, then he has a friend for 5 minutes, and suddenly he misses her when she's not a friend anymore. No, I just needed a lot more time to sort of have Discord and Fluttershy as friends, and then a decent amount of time with Discord and Fluttershy not as friends after that, you know, to make it more understandable that Discord would actually want Fluttershy as a friend. I think it would have worked okay, really, if they'd just taken a bit more time with that ending, really. So yeah, I can see why people kind of think that this would have worked better as a two-parter, but I'm not sure there's quite enough in this episode to stretch it over 2 parts. And I certainly hope this isn't like Tank in May the Best Pet Win, and we're just never going to see Discord again now. I hope he now does become a sort of an occasional character that we see from time to time, really, because yeah, that would kind of sort of take the shine off the sort of resolution to the ending of this episode. And I've also heard some speculation that Princess Celestia's expression at the end of the episode is sort of implying that maybe she and Discord had a thing back in the day. I don't see that myself. But it is a pretty funny expression that she makes at the end, I gotta say. Yeah, this was a really enjoyable episode, a lot of fun, and interesting just to see a different type of Fluttershy episode for once. But that ending, this is maybe downgrades it from probably an 8 out of 10 to maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I would say that takes a good sort of 2 points off it for me. that ending. Really rushed, I thought. Okay, so those are my thoughts on Keep Calm and Flutter On. Okay, so I will see you guys soon.